Welcome everyone, this is Music Industry Interviews. Now today we have got the man, the myth, the Mo Falk. Say hello.
Hey guys, it's me, it's Mo Falk. How are you guys doing?
So, how are you today, Mo?
I'm good. I'm cooking in my top apartment. Very hot here in Germany. Other than that, I'm fantastic. Finished new music and all around very happy.
Alright, so just tell us a bit about yourself then.
So I'm 21 years old, which is always, nice to know. I'm from Germany originally. I speak a lot of languages. I speak Spanish, so always hit me up on Spanish, which is nice. I don't know. I make future house music. So if you're into that, follow me on SoundCloud, of course. Haha, little cheeky plug there.
Mate, that's at the end. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Nah, of course. And I Hexagon releases, stuff like that. Always working towards getting live shows, of course. And yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
that's
good. So awesome. Tell us how and why you got into the music scene then. Where did it all begin?
Actually, it began a long time ago because my family is really musical and stuff. So from really young age, I was always making music, always played instruments. Like I started playing the piano and I started playing the cello when I was 4, I think. Wow. Like really young. And from there on, it just evolved, I guess. So then my grandma actually, she had some really mean comments about my cello playing. So I stopped that. And I went into drums, which was more like against her, more offensive, more aggressive. And she didn't like that, which was very important to me back then for some reason. And I stuck with that for 10 years. And then eventually I got into FL Studio. I had a friend who was really into music production back then, who was making progressive house. And he showed me FL Studio. And I was like, yeah, shit, this is something I want to do. And since then, I think that was 4 years ago, I just did nothing else pretty much every day. And yeah, that's how it came about.
So 4 years ago was when you got FL Studio?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you've done quite a lot in 4 years then?
Yeah, that's true. I was really fortunate that I actually had the time and resources to just do nothing else. Obviously I had to do school for the first 2 years, which was unfortunate because my school didn't turn out as good because I wasn't really focusing on that. But yeah, it's great. And also family and stuff supported. So yeah, very lucky.
Yeah, definitely. Have you just finished university then?
So I started university 2 years ago and I'm going to finish my bachelor thesis in a week. So it's all written up already. It's already produced, all done. And in a week, I'm going to be finished with my bachelor. Yeah.
Nice. What did you study?
So it's actually called audio production, just like that. It's a German course for audio engineers. So it's not production. It's more like the technical engineering of audio stuff, like how to build amplifiers, how EQs work, like in an analog way. And that really helped me in the beginning as well. And I finished the diploma half a year ago. So I'm like a diploma audio producer now. I can call myself that, which I think is really hilarious. And yeah.
Are you ready to go on to the full producer mode then?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's also why I think it was so quick for me, like my progression, because I learned all the technical stuff and then at home I could implement it into how I used it in FL Studio, and it was great.
Okay, all right. So who are your inspirations from when you started making music and now?
Oh, wow. That's... So obviously, let me start with now because that's more easy. Now, obviously, Don Diablo. I don't think there's any doubt that he's an inspiration to most people. Right now, also, I'm really into Throttle because he went away from his more original style and started doing like tracks like Wanderlust and stuff like that. And I really like that. Also, all the Hexagon family stuff like Asketa, Nathan Chime are blowing up right now. Retrovision, these guys. I mean, that stuff just is amazing. Also, I think Oliver Heldens and like all the more groovy stuff. For example, there's also Anomaly Beats, which does insane jazz combined with future bass, and it's just unreal. That kind of stuff. Also, right now, Fox Stevenson. Inspiration now, inspiration back then.
Yeah.
Great. I just found him on Instagram as well, and he does the funniest stuff. And yeah, I'm really back into his stuff, like music and style. Yeah, and then back in the day, so when I first started music, I was listening to dubstep mostly. And back then, I obviously didn't know the names of any DJs because I wasn't that into it yet. But it was like UKF, and there was Infected Mushrooms back then, and there was Skrillex, of course.
Yeah, that was all quite big over here back then as well.
Yeah, and well, because of that, because I could kind of hear it was simple in a way. I thought it was simple at least. Now I know different, but and I thought, yeah, I can do that, and I tried to make that stuff, and yeah, it was really funny.
Would you say you've developed your own sound then, with your production?
No, not at all. I mean, there's some stuff that is kind of my sound, but I don't have like the one Mo Falk sound. And I've actually spoken to a lot of people about this, and the main thing for me is I don't like to like pinpoint myself down to, oh, this is the stuff I make, because right now I'm still learning so much. I'm still experimenting, and I don't want to like just right now decide, okay, this is the style I'm going to go for. And I've just been doing all kinds of stuff, usually in the future house kind of region, but not with my own sound. I like to really copy Retrovision, like steal a little bit of inspiration there. And
I think everyone does. We definitely do.
And I mean, obviously nowadays, kind of everything's been done in a way, right? So you're always picking and choosing different sounds from everywhere. So I would definitely say I haven't found it. There's people out there that say I do, like they describe it as funky and like groovy or whatever, but I don't do that on purpose. That's just a product of how my workflow goes in FL Studio, I guess.
Whether you've found it or not, you've definitely got a lot of banging tracks, so just keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, thank you.
So when you first started sending tracks out, how did you make yourself stand out to labels?
So funny story. I never had that issue. Sorry.
Okay. So you were the lucky one.
Yeah, no, actually, I really was insanely lucky. So I sent one demo. The very first demo that I sent to Hexagon was Mammut. Before that, I had never sent a demo to any label.
So you just shot for the stars?
Yeah, so even before that, so 2 years ago, I did like the remix competitions on Spinning Talent Pool. I guess you've heard of those, right?
Yeah.
And they were kind of successful, but also I was terrible. So they were not really that successful. And I did one remix, which was for Kashmir for the power track. I don't know. And for some reason, Spinning really liked it, and they signed it as a remix pack, and it got like 500,000 streams, and it like blew up. And then just after that, I sent my demo to Hexagon, and they premiered the Mammut track in Hexagon Radio, and then they wanted to sign it immediately. So from there on, I always had this, like the Joker, like I've been released on Hexagon before. So it's never been this, I just mass send demos and I just have to prove my worth, because I always had this, but I've already been proven worthy, like that kind of.
So without sounding arrogant then, are you in a situation now where you can just sort of walk into a label, if you sent them a demo, they'd be like, yeah, let's have it?
Absolutely not. So yeah, absolutely not. Because there's so many insanely good producers right now and so much high quality music, and I'm not better than anybody, right? I just make my music, and sometimes they turn out good. Most of the time my tracks are absolute trash, honestly. If you would go through my FL projects, it would be insane.
But that's you saying that.
Yeah, of course. But there's still a lot of like how you like display yourself to the label, how you interact with them. Also day or day, like if they're having a bad day, they might just skip your demo. They might not even listen to it. And just be like, even though I've never had this like real struggle with the labels, even now with Hexagon, and they've released me a couple times, and I have a new stuff coming up there, still I have to go through the A&R, and still they have to actually like it. Don has to like it. It never gets any easier. It's just a different magnitude, like a different scale.
Have you spoken to Don before?
Yeah, I met him once in Germany a year ago. It was just after the first release on Hexagon. And yeah.
What's he like?
He's crazy. He's the absolutely nicest person I've ever met. And yeah, very inspiring to be around.
He's literally my all-time favorite. So
yeah.
Oh.
He's great. And also I met him with a friend, and I think for just one day we're just like just flashback the whole time, like, oh, remember when he said this and remember when he said that and how great is he, and like we couldn't let it go. It was insane.
So back to your discography then. Which is your favorite track
Of the ones I've released so
of
far,
the
I
ones you've
guess.
released? Yeah, and which one
Oh,
also is the best performing one?
okay, so best performing one is the Power remix because it was like on Spinning Main and they got like insane amount of plays. I think it's almost at 1 million on YouTube. So, but if we take that one out, which I had nothing to do with really, I think it's a remix for Laid Back Luke that's performing really well on Spotify.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't really like that one personally. The one I really like is the track with Asketa, Nathan Chime.
Yeah, I
It's
like
called
that one.
Little Love. Yeah, it's on Hexagon. I think for until now, well, from the stuff that I've released, that's definitely my favorite. Yeah.
Which one was your favorite remix as well?
My remix, the newest one for 6. It's called Back in Time. Yeah, I really like that because he had already this kind of groove in that I wanted to have in the vocals. So I just took the vocals, put a heavy bass line under it, and it just did itself pretty much. And obviously he liked it, Reveal liked it, and they released it. And there was never any doubt in that track, which was the first time that really happened. And
All right. Was that just released on Friday, or is that out on Friday?
no, it was last Friday. So
Yeah.
the 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that. I don't know. 4th.
Yeah. What are your views on the importance of social media being a massive factor in success now for an artist?
God damn it. So I just spoke with a manager yesterday that I was interested in, and he declined me. He's like, yeah, I like your stuff. I want exactly what you have, but I want it with 100,000 more Instagram followers.
Really?
So that's really so. And he was like a A&R at Universal as well, and he told me that the general thing that promoters, that booking agencies, that labels are looking for is exposure, right? And exposure you don't get if you're not big on social media. And if you're big on social media, you can also offer them that exposure in return for their services, which would be a release or whatever playlist promotion, or I don't know.
What a kick in the teeth that is then.
It really is. And I was really depressed yesterday after I heard that, and immediately contacted a social media manager. And it's tough to hear that as well, because it's like, yeah, I can make the greatest music like I want to, and still it depends on numbers. And yeah,
that's shit, man. I feel for you.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like that for me only, it's for everybody. And yeah, also then there's like the whole different thing with, like, you have social media, you have all that stuff, and then you have radio. Don't even try to get into radio. Like it's an entire league that is completely unavailable to us new producers, us newcomers. It's unreal.
What do you mean by radio? As in getting plays on the radio? Or
Exactly, yeah. Like airtime on radio is impossible almost. In Holland, it's kind of all right because you have Slam and stuff. They support electronic music, but
what about like local stations?
Yeah, no chance. Because you got to think, you got competition from people like Justin Bieber, and if he releases a track, there's like, if they had to choose Mo Falk and Justin Bieber, are you really like, you don't even need to think that they would like choose my track, no matter how good it is, because Justin Bieber brings in the place. And yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how that was really related to the other stuff, but radio just annoying.
Well, it's all down to the numbers, isn't it, for your social media? So have you now hired a social media manager to get a plan together then?
Well, I'm in the process of doing that. I'm very fortunate that most of my cousins do this kind of stuff. So I just hit them up, and there's a couple of them that are really interested. But yeah, obviously I got to see how it goes. And also, they're expensive, man. Because
yeah, they are. It's an occupation, isn't it? That's what they do.
Exactly. Yeah, it's their job, it's their work, and just how we learn how to make music and do it all the time. That's what they do. It's crazy.
All right. What is your door of choice then?
My door.
Yeah, your digital audio workstation.
My door.
Not your front door, not your back door.
I was so confused. So I work in FL Studio, and I have always been in FL Studio in my university, we learned Pro Tools, which is like mostly recording and mixing. And I've also used Cubase and Ableton. And if I could, I would probably be using Ableton, but I don't want to make the transition. So I just stuck with FL Studio, and especially with FL Studio 20 and now the new version. I'm really happy that I stuck with it because now it's actually really, really good. And I don't see any reason to move to Ableton.
All right.
But
why would you want to move to Ableton?
Because there's this one feature, man. There's this one warp function for a vocal or like any sample. You can like warp it differently.
Yeah.
And and you can you can change the format value, like automated and stuff. It's like just way more flexible in terms of manipulation of samples than FL Studio. Yeah, but other than that, I love FL Studio. Greatest DAW in the world, man.
What's your process for starting a new track?
Oh, I like that question.
If you have one, because people just have it any way they want, don't they, really?
Yeah, so obviously it like depending on whatever's going on, I might just have a melody in my head or whatever, but usually I try to find a vocal or a chord progression. And then when I have that, I try to find the other. So if I have a vocal, I try to write chords for it. If I have chords, I try to find a vocal for it. And then from there on, I have like my general structure, which I always do. I do like my intro, then my break, then my build up, my drop. And I will usually start with the build up and the break, because there I can kind of get the feel for how the track should sound and everything. And then in the drop, I do the drop last, because then I'll already have all the elements in the break and just can take some of those elements, put them in the drop, and then just do my stuff in the drop.
What if you haven't got your drop melody though? Like, does that come next then, or? Yeah,
so in the drop, when I do the drop, it's usually, obviously I start kick bass, because for me the bass is the stuff that decides the groove, and that's kind of important for my tracks. And then I just try to see what works. Sometimes I just go with chords like the like in Mammut, or like the wobble chords, like Don Diablo chords. And sometimes I just take a melody. But for melodies, I really, really, really struggle with lead sounds for some reason. I've never been good at sound designing lead sounds. I'm still struggling with lead sounds. I don't know how these people do it that make tracks with just like a single lead. I don't know. I really don't know. So I usually try to base my tracks around something else rather than a main lead melody. I try to like add vocal stabs, add some weird bass elements, something like that, so that I don't completely make the lead melody the main focus, because I don't know how to do that, pretty much.
We also have that issue. We are trying to also find our sound, and we do struggle with trying to find leads that just go and make a good drop. So
yeah, definitely. And like leads is so difficult because you have sound design, then you have rhythm, and you have like tonality, like keys, like which key you're actually hitting, and all that together. I think it's really hard to get right, but when you get it right, it sounds awesome.
What are your favorite plugins to use?
Favorite plugins?
Yeah.
Serum from Xfer Records.
Everyone said Serum. Literally everyone.
Yeah, because it's so flexible. You can do anything, and also for sound design, you legit can do anything you want. Like there's no limitation really, and yeah, I love that about it.
What about processing plugins?
Exactly. I was just going to say that. For that, I just love... Well, I use Isotope Imager a lot, which is just for controlling stereo spread and stereo field and stuff like that. And FabFilter Saturn saturation plugin. Oh, absolute crispness. Really, it just makes every sound so much dirtier because it has just the right kind of saturation, which just works. It's not distortion, but it's also not just saturation. It's like just in the middle, which is
just gorgeous,
great.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I really like that. So yeah, I would say Serum and probably FabFilter Saturn.
Okay. Yeah. So when you first started them, how long did it take you to get from making nothing that was good to like, okay, I'm going to release Mammut, because that was your first track. So
yeah. Until actually it was, I think, about 2 to 3 years, maybe 2.5. And in the beginning, you have this curve, like the learning curve, where in the beginning, I thought I was making the dopest tracks in the world. Like really, I thought I was the next Avicii, but they were so trash. But back then, I didn't know what I didn't know. Like I didn't know how unexperienced I was and how bad the tracks were. So I just assumed they were great and sent them like to all my friends. I was like, hey, check this out. And they even played it at a school big thing, like reunion stuff. And everybody's like, oh, this is trash. And I was really sad, because I thought it was awesome. And then the next, I guess, year or two, I sort of like just thought, oh, I don't know how to make anything. All my tracks sound bad. And then with Mammut, I still was thinking that, I was still thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. This is just, it sounds okay, but is this really how it should sound? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's probably why it did so well, because I heard Mammut. Was it in that EP?
Yeah, it was in the festival.
So I heard Mammut, and I was like, wow, this is, I mean, no offense, I wasn't sure if I liked it at first, but I could appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said. They said it was like a new creatively it was really interesting, but then obviously production value wasn't super high.
But then now I love it. I really do like Mammut, so.
Yeah, I mean, I still love it as well, because it kind of kickstarted my whole journey here. And
well, yeah, it's got some value to it.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this Mammut track, I sent them masters, right? And in university, we just learned how to make masters properly, like how to master a track. And I did that perfectly how they taught us. And Spinning declined. Like they said, we can't release this, it's trash.
What, the master or the actual track?
Yeah, because back then Hexagon was still part of Spinning, like was his sub-label. And they said, Mammut in this version that this guy Mo Falk sent us, we can't release it because it's not up to modern standard.
Wow.
And I was so shocked. I was like, how? And then fortunately enough, there was a very smart person who came to my rescue, which I can't name for legal reasons, I guess.
But, right, that's fine.
But yeah, crazy. And then now obviously it did so well, which is funny because it got declined the first time. Like not even from Hexagon, from Spinning, like, crazy.
Yeah, well, it's out there now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what would you say is a weakness of yours?
Like production-wise?
Production-wise, yeah, not just generally, as in
okay.
In terms of making music.
Well, leads, lead melodies. But other than that, I would say I find it really, really difficult to go back to old projects. Like I like to just work on a track for a day or two and be done. And
so then you finish the track in a day or two?
Yeah, usually in a day I get the rough, like I get it almost done, and then it's just like getting final mix, doing final master, some final edits. But yeah, usually in a day or two. And that really sucks because sometimes I have to go back because there's a label saying like, yeah, we want this track, but can you please fix that and that? And it'll take me months until I can even like get over this, like, I don't want to actually work on it again feeling and go back to it and work on it again. I hate it because usually by the time they will get back to me, like a label will get back to me, I will have already learned so much new stuff that when I go back to the old track, I won't like it anymore because I'll think, oh, back then I made so many mistakes and this is wrong and that is wrong, And so I guess that's a weakness also.
So I was going to actually ask you this later on in the interview, but because you've just said that you bash out a track in a day or two, do you take any precautionary measures to protect your ears and your eyes?
My eyes, no. Well, I just bought a high quality screen, and I hope that the screen is good enough that it doesn't damage my eyes. Honestly, but I don't know. My ears, I try to listen to stuff mostly quietly, but other than that, like out in the normal day life, I don't. Like when I go on the subway and stuff, I just put in earplugs because that's too much noise. And also festivals and stuff, I always have ear protection in, even though people say it's like, oh, you're pussy or whatever. No, no. Yeah, I just care about listening stuff, And yeah, but other than that, I don't. I guess my neighbors are the best protection because if I just put my music too loud, they'll knock on my door and, well, be really, really pissed.
Well, yeah, there is that. Okay, so what do you get up to outside of music?
Not much, man. Not much, really. There's I cook. Obviously, I live alone, so I have to cook for myself, which I actually enjoy a lot because it's fun. And that's the problem as well, why I've been gaining a little bit of weight, because I really enjoy eating and cooking. And yeah, So obviously, because of that, now I also do a lot of sports because I want to kind of combat my non-six-pack deal.
So what sports do you do?
Dude, I just do like at home. I just
Like
like
workouts?
workouts. Like what is it called? HIIT, like high intensity interval training.
Oh yeah.
I just watch some YouTube video and do exactly what the guy's doing, and
yeah, it's good. Then we used to do them.
Yeah, I guess. And other than that, I don't really do much outside of making music. I go to uni, but that's about it. Yeah.
So okay, other than that, you are busy then. You like to create animations and renders, don't you?
Yes. Oh, I just got into that like half a year ago.
So go on, please tell us more about that because I've seen them and they're just like, whoa, how do you do it?
Yeah, so I was really lucky because for some reason YouTube always suggests to me this kind of creative videos like how to draw blah 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 in 10 seconds or how to, like there's a couple YouTube channels that it keeps suggesting to me for some weird reason. I've never liked the video, whatever. And there's one channel, actually there's two. There's one who does Photoshop edits and I don't know his name, sorry. And he made a video of how to do exactly this kind of vectorized Photoshop image. And it was super simple. I was like, yeah, I can do that. Let me try. And I did it. And it was super cool. And I was like, hey, this is exactly what I like. Like I just want to make exactly these pictures. Thank you for this tutorial. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much how it did. And then now there's this guy, he's called Draw with Jazza. He's an Australian like digital artist. And I just watch all his stuff and he's just awesome. And because of him, pretty much, I just keep doing my stuff and drawing and animating. And yeah.
Is your plan to incorporate these animations to your image at all, or is it just like a hobby?
So in the beginning, I actually just looked into, so I use a software, it's called Blender. It's free, it's open source, stuff like that. And I just wanted to use that and learn how to do it because I wanted to do renders like Don Diablo Survive, which is just a forest and a big thing that's blinking. And I thought, yeah, that's probably easy. Turns out it's really, really difficult and it takes forever to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll hire like graphic producers, won't he?
Yeah. He has like a team. So I've kind of gone away from that and just doing it now as, well, I'm kind of hoping that eventually it will go from hobby to actually being able to be so good that I can use it for digital and like commercial distribution. But for now, I've gone away from that, using it together with my music and just doing it, as a hobby, because my music's not my hobby anymore. So I needed a new hobby, and that's digital design stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's interesting that you've actually replaced the old hobby, even though the old hobby is now your job.
Yeah, no, because I had a lot of struggle in the beginning with making music because I saw it as a hobby. So if I didn't want to do it, I didn't do it, right? Because it's just a hobby, you do it for fun. But now it's really important for me that I make that distinction because I'm lazy. I'm so lazy. And if I tell myself, hey, I have to mix this track, but if I don't really have to because it's not my work, it's just a hobby, it won't mix itself, right? And it'll take me forever to mix it. And like that's especially for tasks that I don't like to do, like mixing. And so that's really helpful, to like think of it differently. Think of it as your job, do the dirty work as well, but then find a different sort of hobby where for me was important that I could do just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on top of all that, you've just released a sample pack, haven't you?
Yeah. So it's really cool because it's called What the Falk. Obviously, right? Play on words a little bit. So I like to sound design. So I thought, hey, why not make a little bit of money from that as well? Obviously, because right now for me, it's really difficult because I'm finishing my university and I don't earn enough from the music alone to live of it yet. So I need to kind of find a secondary income somehow. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. And actually people really, really liked it. So now second one and third one are already done.
Wow. How long does it take to make a pack?
Well, it depends. So for the second one, it took me really long because I wanted to get it perfect. And there's a lot of content in it. And the third one was really quick. I think the third one I did in a day. Like I woke up in the morning, told my girlfriend to supply me with food and water, pretty much. Yeah, really. I told her that. It was really funny. And she did. And I woke up early, finished in late evening, and that was it. Yeah, it was really dope.
Wow. And sorry, how much do you charge for these packs then?
So second one's going to be free, just to get more people in, or like not free, but it's like, yeah, you have to comment and tag
a fan game
X amount of friends, and yeah. And the third one, I don't know yet, but probably not much more than $10, because I want it to be accessible for most people, right? And I don't feel like, I think 10 is already a lot, because you can get anything on Splice.
Yeah, 100%.
For a couple cents. So gotta stay competitive,
Yeah, definitely. So you are a member of Team MBL, aren't you? As in more on the coaching side.
Yes, exactly. So Music by Lucas is a good friend of mine, and I showed him like a while back. I showed him a track, and he's like, "Yeah, I really like this. Let's make a collab." We made a couple of collabs. Unfortunately, none of them got signed. But yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, you're a dope producer. Let me, introduce you to this idea I have." And I really thought it was a great idea about the coaching and stuff. And now I'm a coach there. I coach on Skype. I do like personal interviews. I sometimes do master classes on production. They have a really nice community at Team MBL.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, and it's just nice to be part of it, I guess.
How often do you find yourself giving out or not giving out, but doing a masterclass?
So masterclass
like the one-to-one, sorry.
One-to-one.
Yeah. How often do you find yourself doing the one-to-ones?
So it's usually about one a week, or every 2 weeks I get one. Usually it gets a lot of them. I get a lot of them when I release a new track, because then everybody's like, "Oh, new sound, I want to know how he did it." Or, they kind of see my name again and it's like, "Oh yeah, he does coachings." But then when I don't do release for a couple of weeks, then it kind of dies down again, and I get just one a week or something. Yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's so fun, because first of all, meeting new people, which I don't do because I stay inside all the time. And then also, like, sometimes there's people that are super, super creative and super talented. And it's really nice to just like give them that little push that they usually need, just to like, hey, just listen to that more carefully, do this more carefully, and you're good to go. Right. And it's cool to have that opportunity also to share that knowledge.
Yeah, and definitely, man. So on top of all of that, you also have your weekly feedback live streams, don't you?
Yes. That's really cool, because the way I thought about that, like, I don't know if you do that, but do you watch like gaming YouTubers or YouTubers that upload regularly?
I used to.
So I still do. I watch Minecraft Let's Plays.
Still?
Yeah, because
Minecraft died.
Yeah, Minecraft died, but there's this one community and I love it. And no matter what people say, I love Minecraft, man. It's the best game. I don't play it anymore. I just watch Let's Plays. And
would you not rather play it though?
Yeah, for sure. And I even watch like modded Let's Plays and stuff. Like, it's a huge thing for me. And basically, I get super frustrated when this one YouTuber that I watch doesn't upload. And I was like, I'm so dependent, like my mood is so dependent on having a regular scheduled upload from him. I was like, I want that too. I want people to be disappointed when I don't show up,
Well, yeah, that's what that just shows you've got a true fan base, isn't it?
Exactly. And actually, that's what happened now. I do every Sunday, and when I don't do it, people get upset. They're like, "Hey Mo, I was really looking forward to the live stream. Where is it? Why did you do it?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm legit at a funeral." I'm like, "I don't care. Do the live stream." And it's super cool. And we've like kind of created a little community, which is awesome. And yeah.
Well, we've been a part of your live streams a few times, and they're not just like there for feedback. They're also entertaining. So.
Yeah, so that's also something that's important, I think, because you don't just want to give feedback, you want to give like value in some way. And I always think I want to make a live stream that I would watch myself,
Yeah.
And I wouldn't just watch some random dude give feedback. I want to have personality. I want some weird guy that's like showing some stuff that I don't really care about, but it's entertaining to watch anyways. It's kind of the same way for me with my Minecraft Let's Plays. I don't really care about Minecraft. I care more about the guy because he's funny as hell.
So you're there for, so you're there for him.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think I'm there yet fully, but I'm working towards building that up, and ideally also doing it more often than once a week.
So you've done a lot of collabs, haven't you?
Well, a lot is, yeah. I try to make a lot of collabs because it's very useful and great tool to increase your reach,
Yeah.
And if I give you a hint, there's very dope ones coming up. Very dope ones. Oh, yes.
Are these not able to be disclosed?
I think... I'd rather not, because I don't know. But they're really, really cool. And
can you tell me off camera? Off podcast?
I will tell you off podcast.
Okay, but, sweet.
Yeah, and also German guys, which is awesome to work with, because German producers, we don't have a lot of them. Famous ones, at least, especially in the future house genre. So it's really cool to support the fellow countrymen, I guess. Yeah, because most DJs that are successful are kind of Dutch,
Yeah.
I think that's generally accepted as a statement. And yeah, I want to bring some of that to Germany as well, because come on.
Yeah. So do you enjoy your collabs then?
Most of the time, yes. Sometimes they're very, very painful because people are hard to work with and arrogant and annoying and difficult and annoying and arrogant and difficult, And
yeah.
But most of the time, it's super simple because it's people with the same interests. It's usually nice people. And yeah, obviously, it's always nice to have a second input, to have some second creative input to get more production value because you're sharing your skills,
What's your method with it then? Do you do you both do a little bit at a time, or do you do a massive chunk and hand it over and they finish it off?
Yeah, so I think that depends a lot on if you're working upwards or downwards. So obviously, I think generally people will understand if somebody's more I wouldn't say famous, but higher up the production or producer ladder, I guess. And if I'm working down, I want to get a track that's almost done, right? Because I want to have the freedom to work however I want without much trouble and finish the track, because I'm already giving them value, like the collab partners in that case, by just having my name on it, right?
Yeah,
and in the same
I completely
way,
understand that.
Yeah, and so in the same way, if I'm working upwards, I'll always try to make a finished track, send it to them so that they have that freedom, because they're already providing me with their fame, kind of, right? And I want a piece of that, and in return, I give them a track that's almost done. Yeah.
That's what happened with, because we had David Flicks on the show as well. And obviously he's just blown up with his Moti collab.
Yeah.
And he's going upwards with that. He said to us, he sent the promo out, or the demo, sorry, sent the demo out to Moti, and he came back, was like, right, I finished it, it's done, it's mastered, do you want to release it? So
that's so crazy. I mean, I had a similar deal with Laid Back Luke, actually. So we were going to work on a collab, and he worked on it, but I personally didn't like what he did with it, and I tried to fix it, but then there was some trouble with the management and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
So you told Laid Back Luke, I don't like what you've done to my track.
Well, let's not get into that very specifically, right? but yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, fair enough, man. You've got to stay true to yourself, haven't you? So
yeah, I guess. But it's super cool when you send a track, and that happened for me, for example, for Asketanate and Chime. Super talented producers, and I sent them the idea. It was trash. It was awful. The idea was creative though, and they heard that for some reason, made it super spicy, made it super cool, put their signature drop sound in it, and boom, finished track. And we've actually done 2 more collabs, and they've all worked the same way. I come up with the basic concept, I do the general production, I have all the elements there, send it to them, and they just do their magic. It's literally magic. I don't know what they do. Yeah, it sounds better, Maybe it's just because they work on it as well, and it's not my sound only, but they're so good. So that's, for example, a super nice collab, because I can do all the stuff that I like to do, right? Just making the idea, making the track, and then I don't have to worry about the stuff that I don't like, which they like, mixing, mastering, all that stuff,
Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, that is it. So what is your studio setup like? PC, Mac, desktop, laptop? Do you use speakers or headphones?
So I used to work on a MacBook Pro for the entirety of my 4 years. And I've just switched, maybe a month ago, I switched to a desktop PC with Windows. I did that because my MacBook couldn't handle my projects anymore. It would stutter all the time. The CPU would just die, and it would get super hot and crash, basically. And with my new computer, that doesn't happen because it's a beast. And yeah, I'm very happy that I changed. So right now I'm running Windows. I have FL Studio, and I have in my studio setup is basically one part of my bedroom. It's very small. I just have a little keyboard on the side. I have a Focusrite, a Scarlett 4i2, I think, or 2i4. I don't know what it's called. Audio card. And best thing is I have the KRKs, and they are sitting on fruit baskets.
Right.
Because that's the only thing I have to put them on. And actually, it looks kind of cool, but if you go into any other studio that has proper stands for the speakers, it looks so much better. So,
well, yeah. Do you not find the KRKs are a bit bass heavy, or does that work for you?
I actually really like that because I've always had KRKs to work with, and yeah, when I moved to Berlin, I switched to white ones because I thought it was fancy. And yeah, I because my ears are so used to that sound, and I can always know like my brain automatically kind of reduces the bass, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough then.
It's awesome. I mean, sometimes it's also really annoying, especially when you're trying to master. So when I master, I try to go to the studios our university provides, and they have like properly treated rooms, properly set up like studios with right speakers, right stands.
How much is the difference then between your bedroom and those mastered, treated rooms?
I actually like mine more, right? But the thing is, even though I like it more, I got to be honest and say probably the acoustics in my room are shit, right? I get standing waves. I got just no acoustical treatment really, apart from a little bit of shelving on the sides, and that's it. And obviously there, you know what you're going to get. Like the stuff you hear is the stuff that's actually coming out of the speakers, and that's what it's going to sound like. And that's nice to rely on. I can't really rely on the speakers I have at home 100%, like 99 maybe percent, but not fully, because maybe, I miss that one frequency that I'm sitting at and it's like just canceled out because, I don't know, my room,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we got some fan questions in.
Nice.
First one, did you enjoy your time at SAE Sound Engineering School?
Why did they ask this?
Oh, what a knobhead. Why? What's wrong with that question?
So actually, I did enjoy it because I met probably the coolest people ever. But here's the big but. The bachelor course isn't good. Right. If anybody's listening and wants to go to SAE and do the bachelor, I highly suggest you look at other universities. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. However, the diploma course, which is just the first 1.5 years where you just learn technical stuff and produce, that is really useful, especially for beginners like me who don't know what they're doing. Like before I joined SAE, I didn't even know what an EQ did, basically. I didn't know how a compressor worked, all that stuff. They teach you really well. They have awesome teachers. Like we, for example, had the producer from Pink Floyd, and he taught us all the mixing tips he has for Pink Floyd, and that's just insane. Like that gives you so much value. But then bachelor course, meh. They did not care about us at all.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're here today. You are, you're on your way to success. So it's like, let's just hope that was part of it.
Yeah, it can't have been that bad, but also it wasn't that great.
There was better alternatives, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Any IDs coming up that you're allowed to talk about? IDs.
So let me think. So I don't know. So there is one collab, which is an ID, which is the one I was talking about before with the German producers, right, which is going to be huge. I think I can tell you what it is. I just can't tell you with who it is. It's a remake of You've Got the Love, which Don Diablo also made. And the coolest thing is we had a big issue with the copyright because it's owned by Universal, I think, or Warner, I don't know. And they forever, I think it took 4 months for them to actually give us the okay for actually being able to use that vocal, because they obviously have copyrights on that vocal, and even if we re-record that vocal, we still had to get their copyright and they're okay and blah blah blah, and it took forever. And then they got it, and we got the perfect vocal, and now the other party of the collab has that track, and it's going to be so huge. I can promise you that it's going to be so dope.
Looking forward to that then, definitely. So
yeah,
what did you do to get there? Okay, did you just email them?
So it was in conjunction with Mixmash, and Mixmash did all the paperwork, did all the copyright management stuff with Universal and all. Yeah. I think other than that, there's a really, really cool Tokyo Project collab, which is kind of a mix between funky future house and Zonderling type future house, which is like super wompy, I guess that's a way to say it.
Yeah.
Which is also really cool, it's already done, it's already finished, it's just sitting in a lot of labels' inboxes, I guess, and waiting to be discovered. Then there's one really, really, really dope collab with the Sushi King. I don't know if you know him, it's ILVS.
I don't think
he's
so.
a Greek producer, absolutely awesome dude, and shout out to him, by the way. And we made a track which was originally going to be released on Hell Deep. So it was a real banger. Like, it was super hard, super electro, kind of Kirby inspired a bit, like just aggressive as hell. But then Hell Deep at some point just decided, hey, maybe it's too hard for us. And yeah, so I think we have at least 3 people that are going to play this at Tomorrowland, this ID. So watch out for that. But for now, we don't have any release for it anywhere.
Well, I'm sure that'll get some traction for it.
I so hope. And I think that's also a great way to do that, get DJ support, and then obviously the labels are kind of like, oh, who played that? Who's this? Who's that ID guy?
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you like to do to get inspired? That was another fan question. So that's really difficult because I struggle with that even now. It's really funny. Here's what I do. My dad lives on the other side of Berlin, which is where I live as well, but on the complete opposite side, and it takes about an hour to get there, and by just like public transport. Right.
So it's mostly U-Bahn. What is it, like metro? And from the metro station, the final station, to his house, it's about a 10-minute walk. And exactly there, if I walk that 10 minutes without phone, without anything, every time I walk there, I have a super dope idea. It's unreal. I don't know what it is, but you walk through like a little bit of wood, like a forest, and for some weird reason I cannot explain, every time I go there, I'm inspired as hell.
What, it just comes, a melody comes to your head, or a drop comes to your head?
Yeah, or like a new idea for like a new creative stuff, or like how would it sound if I combine, I don't know, Mesto and Mike Williams, or actually that's a really terrible one, but Zonderling and Mesto, or whatever. And then I come. The only problem with that is it's really far away. So even then, when I come back to my house, it's already been like probably like 2-3 hours, and then it's kind of washy again. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. On my phone, I have maybe 2 hours of just audio recordings from me walking those 10 minutes and beatboxing or whatever. It's the
mate,
funniest
whatever works.
Yeah, but actually, usually I don't go through the trouble of doing that. Usually I just sit down and find a nice vocal, to be fair, I mean, that's just if I really cannot come up with anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Someone said, your progress from noob to Mo Falkin good. But you've pretty much covered that in this podcast, so...
That thank you for that question, though. That was... Who said that? That was an awesome question.
I think that was Sebyam. I always get his name wrong. I think he's a loyal fan to this show. So if he is, thank you.
Nice.
But I always say his name wrong, but yeah, Sebyam.
Nice. I know him.
Yeah. Right. So we'll get some DJ questions out the way. Are you DJing much? Are you gigging at the moment?
I'm not gigging at all. I wish I was.
Is that because no one's coming to you, or because you're just like focusing on music?
That's because nobody's coming to me. I'm not with a booking agency. I don't have much social media traction. Other than that, I am a very good DJ, if I may say so myself. Most of the days, I actually DJ for a little bit at home. I have a big controller here. So just waiting for those bookings.
What about the Hexagon release and all the big labels you've been on? Because going back to David Flicks, he's got that collab with Moti, right? And he's got his name out there, and he's planning a tour already from that big release. So
yeah, I mean, that's really crazy. For me, it's just I don't know how to do that. Like, to be honest, first of all, I don't have the contacts. I don't have the knowledge of where I would even play, especially because in Berlin, it's all techno. Like, there's not a single track that would play my music, a single club. And yeah, also, I just don't know how I would go about that. I just need to find maybe a booking manager or something like that. And
yeah,
I hope like a tour manager, somebody that could do that for me, because I personally I don't know how to do that.
Would you do club nights or anything? No.
Totally, man. Like, I would play for free because I actually enjoy playing music so much. Like, I would probably play the first 10 shows or something just for free, just to do it, just to get some picks and enjoy, because it's really fun for me as well. But yeah, nothing so far.
Have you done gigs before though?
I have two, but they weren't real gigs. One was at my high school prom, or it wasn't my prom, but it was at my high school and a prom. And that was awful because I had to play pop music and like radio charts, and I didn't like that at all. And then I played one more party, which was actually really, really cool. I played my music and it was awesome. It's just that there wasn't a lot of people. And well, the people that were there, they were insane. They were super happy and crazy. But yeah.
So I suppose you still got that whole learning how to play in front of a crowd thing to come then.
Well, I think I would know how to play in front of a crowd because I do it every day at home, and I even do the typical, like, I try to imagine in my head what it would be like, and I do the microphone stuff, and I do everything just to like get into the zone kind of thing.
But your girlfriend's downstairs like, Mo, shut up.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. That's something I want to get into, especially next year or maybe end of this year already. Is the whole live aspect of not just being a producer, but also moving into DJing as well.
Yeah. Look forward to seeing it, man. I hope I'm sure you'll land some big shows next year, definitely.
Yeah. So actually, about that, I had landed a really big show, which was in China. Huge festival. I was going to play after Raven and Crayon. It was super dope. It was like I was headlining. It was going to be amazing, right? But visa got denied.
Oh, man.
Why? Yeah, it was. I don't know. I mean, I do know. It's probably because my dad's somewhat involved with the military, right? And I've been in
complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, and because of him, I've kind of like moved around different countries a lot in my like pre-university time. So maybe it's because of that, but also I don't really know because they didn't really say. Yeah,
I hope that sort of wears off then in the next few years.
Yeah, I hope, because they even put me on like a blacklist. They're like, yeah, if this guy doesn't expend himself, he can't enter. What? I did nothing. Like, I'm not a spy. I don't care. I just want to play music and leave again. It was for 3 days or something, and yeah, declined, man.
Sorry to hear, man. You must have been like...
Yeah, I was so excited as well, because I thought like, yeah, this is going to kickstart the whole DJing thing. And
when was this?
So it would have been 21st of June. So 3 weeks ago.
That's like quite recently as well.
Exactly, yeah. And it was a big build-up. Like, I knew it since since February. And I was just planning towards that, Like, it's so... Still annoys me. I mean, also...
You know what? Just from this one interview with you, you've had a lot of setbacks, haven't you, really? Like...
Well, I have had some setbacks, but also got to be fair, I've also had a lot of luck. So I think it balances itself out.
True, actually, yeah. I didn't think about the first demo where you go sent out, goes to Hexagon, but...
Exactly. No, I think I was very lucky as well. And so also, my philosophy is, if it doesn't work right, it was meant to be that way. So I guess...
I agree.
So I'm not too mad that China didn't happen, like, except for like obviously professional reasons and stuff like that. But who knows what would have happened? Maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it was karma or whatever. And
if it happened once, it'll happen again, won't
it? Yeah, that's also what I hope. And yeah.
So you are a festival goer yourself then?
I kind of am. Also, I kind of am not. I've been to a festival once and I loved it. but I don't see myself going again as like audience. Like I'd rather backstage or playing, obviously, because I'm not really into that like mindset where I'll just get fucked up and dance to music for 4 days, because I don't even drink alcohol. Don't even drink coffee. I'm like super sober, kind of, and that just doesn't really go well with like jumping to music for a lot of days straight. Yeah, and I don't know.
Fair enough, man. I mean, each their own with it. If you know where you want to be, and that's on the stage, so
exactly, yeah. I should aim for that as well.
Now, how did you come up with Mo Falk? Because I'm going to assume that isn't your birth name.
No. So, so right now I'm called in real life. I'm called Moritz Falk. So it's pretty close.
Just shortened down, then, isn't it?
Yeah, but I wasn't always called Moritz Falk. So I had a different surname before. And when I was 17, I took the name of my stepdad, and that's Falk. And then obviously Falk was much cooler than my name before. It was a very German name, and I didn't really like it. I mean, apart from obviously the family that comes with it, that was nice, but the name itself was weird. And obviously that worked really well because Mo Falk is super smart. Like to me, it just sounded always right. And just shortened down. Made
catchy,
sense
man.
to me.
It's catchy.
Yeah, and actually really funny. There's a lot of phonetic idea and thought behind that name. And for some reason, I came about like just when I was thinking about what's going to be my DJ name, whatever, because it was Morphix in the beginning, and then it was like Phipps, and then like all these weird names that weren't really great. And then I actually did some research, and I looked into phonetics and how names should sound, and why Coca-Cola is successful, and why Martin Garrix sounds right, and why Don Diablo, blah, 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 and it's all to do with vocals and how stuff is spelled. And because of that, I chose Mo Falk. There's a very, very clever trick in that name that does something to our brains for some reason. And
oh, wow. Yeah. Is that like... Well, yours isn't alliteration, but I suppose Don Diablo is alliteration.
Exactly. Well, it's not really alliteration. I don't think it has a name. It's just the way O
what about
and
Nuki?
A.
What about us Nuki? Has that got any phonetic effect on people, or?
I probably, dude. I don't remember, man. It's been 3 years. I don't know. I just know why mine in particular, but why Mo Falk is that catchy. Also, for some reason, or I mean, I know the reason, but it's that phonetic phenomena. But for some reason, Mo Falk gets memed a shit ton. Like most of my friends, when I tell them, yeah, my artist name is Mo Falk, they're like, oh, blah, and then they come up with some funny pun,
Right, yeah.
And I hope that's to do with the way and reason I chose it for, and I think it's good because
that's
it
very
sticks
clever.
in the head.
So, man, very clever.
Yeah, I mean, also I could just be making this up, but you would never know.
Maybe that is the phonetic effect. You're making it up. This whole story.
Exactly, and now everybody's going to be like, "Oh, let me think about that and make my name exactly like that," And then in reality, it was just all a big joke.
Right. Okay. So, whereabouts are you in your career right now, then?
So that's a difficult question. So obviously, I would love to be. Okay. So where am I right now? Now.
Where you want to be is next. So
yeah. So right now, I produce music. I make music pretty high quality, but in my opinion, it could be still high quality. But I just recently found a manager, which is awesome. The guy is the coolest dude in the world. Then obviously I'm at a point now where I think I can make music that I enjoy making, if that makes sense. Like it's not a struggle anymore so much, like except for making leads and stuff like that. I can kind of do what I want to, which is really cool. And obviously now I'm not playing any live shows, which is not where I want to be.
Okay, so where do you want to be then?
So where I want to be is playing live shows all over the world, traveling the world, seeing all the different cultures, all that stuff. Because I've been raised that way and we've always been traveling as a kid, I would like to see more of the world, experience different cultures, food, like even now with the China trip, I would have just loved to eat all their food. at once, just really interesting to me. And obviously with producing, I want to be more sophisticated, have more collabs with awesome people, like obviously more higher up in the ladder. And yeah, just I think with producing, I want to be still a little bit more confident in my productions, because now, even though a lot of people like them, I'm still not fully convinced that they're actually cool. Right.
Well, it's coming from yourself. You're always going to play down your own work, aren't you, to an extent?
Yeah, I guess. But it would be nice if I could just love it a little more, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest highlight so far?
The biggest highlight? Well, it would have been that China show. I'm just going to bring that up from now on. Jesus Christ. No, probably release of Mammut. Release of Mammut was incredible. Like, it was unreal. Like, just...
I bet you didn't sleep for 2 days straight after that.
What?
I bet you didn't sleep for 2 days straight, excitement.
Yeah, well, it was insane. I don't know what that means, 2 days straight.
It basically just means you didn't sleep for a whole 2 days.
Oh, like that. No. Well, I did sleep. Come on, I did sleep.
Well, I know, but exaggerating. But yeah, so Mammut's the biggest highlight.
Mammut's definitely the biggest highlight. And after that, it's got to be every time Don Diablo plays a track from me live. And
is he your number one then?
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And also, actually, no, not Mammut. No, that's not right. The biggest highlight was meeting Don Diablo. By far. By very, very far, that was the biggest highlight. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Definitely. Like, nothing probably will ever come close to that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, he retweeted one of my tweets on Nuki's account, and even that's up there as one of the highlights so far for Nuki. So
yeah, exactly, because it's incredible. Because not only, first of all, you're like, oh shit, now a lot of people are gonna see it. Yeah, that's nice. I don't care. It's about like him actually giving a shit about what you do or who you are.
He has seen the Twitter handle Nuki Music. He knows who we are. Like
exactly, exactly. Like for example, for me, it's similar, but it's, for example, when he says Mo Falk in his radio show, I'm like, God damn it, he said my name.
Oh, mate. It's
like he knows I exist, and it's just, it's the best feeling in the world.
I said it in the last podcast, but he's just created a movement, hasn't he? Like,
yeah.
It's unreal what he's
definitely.
done.
I mean, I hope he's number one now, like this year. Because actually, today, I think DJ Mag Top 100 started voting.
Voting
and
opened.
I hope he's number one. I hope.
He deserves it.
Very much.
Okay, last question then. What advice do you have for new people that want to get into this industry?
Don't be discouraged, I think, is the biggest thing. Like, don't take negative feedback too seriously. Try to learn from mistakes. Try to learn from bad experiences, and don't let yourself be pushed down by the whole shit show that also comes with making music. And yeah, I think that's very important, that if you like what you're doing, you should stay with that. You should always trust yourself to know what is right.
Definitely, man.
I guess.
Definitely. Yeah. Some good advice there. So, okay, just to finish off then, where can everyone find you?
So everyone can find me, obviously, Instagram, if you want to know everything right away. It's Mo Falk Music. Twitter, I also have. I'm not very much active there. Interesting thing now, I'm streaming on Twitch at Mo Falk Music as well, which is twitch.tv/Mo Falk Music.
Yeah.
And there every Sunday, SoundCloud, Mo Falk. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Facebook maybe, if people are still into Facebook, but are people still using Facebook nowadays? I don't think.
I feel like the whole social media shifted. So Facebook was our thing, and now it's getting more of the older generation's thing because they're just catching up to it all. So
yeah. So if there's any older generation people watching there, it's also Mo Falk on Facebook.
There you go, guys. Right, Mo, thank you for coming on. It's been a wonderful interview with you. So
it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. We're back next Friday with another interview, and yeah, we'll see you then. Cheers.